Hello, everybody.
Good morning and afternoon.
Yeah, depending on where you are. Welcome to Module 2 of Elite's High Impact Customer Care course.
Yes. Welcome. Happy Wednesday, right?
Happy Wednesday, everybody. So I might look a little odd to you. My head, I slept on my neck funny, and it's kind of hard to turn my head. So for what that's worth, now you know what's going on. If I'm acting a little strange, we're going to get that solved today. So.
Yes.
But
so bear with her.
Yeah, bear with me. So how to best benefit you guys. We're excited that you're here. Thank you so much for giving of your time again to be with us. We really think you're going to enjoy this session. But let's talk about some of these key things. Anything you can do to make sure that you're uninterrupted will be great. Just really absorb this content, take really good notes, and keep an open mind. You're going to hear things that are very counter, very different from what you've been doing. You might be thinking we're crazy people over here, but we've been doing this for a really, really long time. And the neat thing about this content is it's all centered in principles, and it really does work. It really, really does. So just keep an open mind. If you have any follow-up questions or thoughts, you can always email us, and we will answer those questions for you. And of course, it says during our session, simply submit your questions via the question panel. So we will take some time at the end again to do Q&A. And answer what questions we can live.
We were very impressed with all the questions last round. So contingent on what we cover today, hammer us with questions and we'll do our best to answer those.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, we are going to talk a little bit more about our sales cycle, the Elite sales cycle. So selling extraordinary service, we have to make sure that we communicate very clearly, very concisely, and in a way that's going to help that person really understand the message we're trying to portray. That's all the sales cycle is.
Yes.
And last week, we covered steps 1 and 2, building rapport and fact finding. This week, we're going to be covering 3 and 4, right?
3, 4, and 5 today.
3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
So you'll see the start steps. Just as a reminder, these are the steps where we really feel advisors need the most work. So before we get to those 3 start steps, let's talk a little bit deeper. Do you want to dig a little deeper for them, Jen, on the sales cycle and how these steps and why these steps are so critical to your success?
Yeah, you're going to follow this sales cycle whenever you communicate with a customer. So it'll be in 2 facets. It'll be the inbound brand new caller. They're calling in for something, right? They want an answer. So you're still going to follow this sales cycle. You're going to build rapport with them as quickly as you can. You're going to fact find with them. You're going to learn about their issues. You're going to ask them a lot of good questions to get them talking. Then you're going to know how to identify the customer's need and concern. Most likely it's some form of inspection or maybe some testing perhaps. You'll identify what that solution is. So that would be setting the appointment, right? You're going to build interest and value in set appointment in that visit, paint a picture of how that's going to be easy. You're going to ask for the sale, which in this scenario would be asking for the appointment, scheduling it in.
So if we're talking about a phone call with a first-time caller, the sale is the appointment. In every other case, if you're selling a repair, it's the repairs.
Yeah.
But Jen's making a point to you guys that no matter which way you look, you're always following the sales cycle. Doesn't matter if it's a phone call and the sale is the appointment you're scheduling, or whether it's the work that needs to be done on the car after they've dropped it off and you pick up the phone to make that sale. So point is, sales cycle is effective communication no matter what. So you're kind of always following it in every customer engagement. But yeah, I love that she's using that analogy of that first time caller, right? Yeah. What's the sale there? It's the appointment.
It's the appointment, and you close it. You just make sure they know where you're located and you resell them on that appointment, on that upcoming service or whatever it is they might be getting. Resale just means making them feel good, reducing any buyer's remorse, we could call it. We just want them to feel confident in what they just said yes to. Same thing would be followed when you're at the point of sale. Maybe this is a repeat customer and they dropped the car off at 8 a.m. and now it's 1, post inspection, 1 p.m. you're calling them to deliver your sales presentation.
Right.
Follow the same exact steps.
You can't, so hopefully you guys can see, if you don't do a great job of building rapport and establishing a connection, getting that customer to like you and feel comfortable with you, open up to you, you're not going to get all the answers you need when you're fact finding. They may be a bit closed off. They're still kind of like this.
Yeah.
So that is really important. Following step 1 is critical to step number 2 being what it needs to be. If you don't do a good job fact finding and asking all the right questions and having this customer feel comfortable answering everything, then you're not going to be able to properly identify their needs and concerns. Some of those concerns, they might hold back on some of those concerns. They might not want to tell you that last time they felt the last shop was not telling them the truth and the whole truth. They might hold back on that with you. So
then it'd be really hard to identify the proper solutions. And then, you know, you see this is a waterfall effect. The step behind, below it requires the one before it to be nailed. So we want you to memorize this. We want you to post this. This was a part of last week's homework. Physically, take your phones out right now. Take a screenshot of this or do it with your computer. And I know it's in your workbook, and we have the workbook attached in the little portal here, but jot this down, because if you live and breathe this, you're not going to get as much confusion or concerns or objections from your customers when you're communicating. And I know you all want that.
So true. We have to build interest and value. We have to ask for the sale. So many service advisors that we work with really struggle with that step. You have to actually ask in a formal way, and we'll teach you that in the next module. Close the sale. If you have any objections that come up, that's where we do it. And then we just confidently tell them, you know what, you're going to be very pleased with your decision. You made a good choice. So steps 1, 5, and 8, the rapport building, the building interest and value, and that resell, that confident, convicted resell are the areas that we tend to see we really need to put focus on. So that's what these stars are. So we'll spend more time on the sales cycle in next week's module. And maybe if Jen can remind me, I can do a real life analogy of just how natural this is and how we use the sales cycle in day-to-day communication. And we don't really realize that we do it.
Yeah.
But we'll come back to that next week.
Yes. So let's get into step number 3 of this excellent sales cycle. We want to break these down individually and remind you that identifying the customer's needs and concerns is super huge. And you can't assume what the customer's needs and concerns are. You actually have to have an audible, out loud conversation with them on that so you can get agreement by them. So there's differences between customers' needs and concerns. You know, they might have a need that they come in and this horrific noise whenever they step on the brake just needs to be out of their life, right? That's their need. But their concern might be that needs to be fixed by tomorrow, no later than 9 a.m. because they're leaving town for a road trip. So there's differences here. You want to gather all that information, articulate it out loud, and make sure that you're on the same page with the customer.
Yeah, so when you articulate the customer's needs, so Jen, it sounds like you really want to get this brake noise handled. That's really, you know, driving you nuts, right? You want to make sure everything's safe.
Totally, yeah.
Okay. And then the other thing you mentioned was that you had to have it back by tomorrow at 5, something about a camping trip you guys are going on?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, thanks for remembering. We really need this truck. So if we don't have it, we can't go. I'm a little freaked out about that.
Got it. Okay. All right. And that's everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, we're gonna make sure to get this stuff taken care of. So now she hears me repeat it back to her. She gets the chance to make sure to say, yep, Doris, you got it. You listened to me. You understood. So make sure you have that conversation with your customer, like Jen said. Don't just do it up here. Make sure that they hear you with us. So the first bullet point here, guys, it says get your customers visually involved. Anything that you could do to have the customer see proof, right?
Support. Right? Some backup.
We'll share a study done on this in a minute here, but people believe what they see. We all know that, right? We're all visual creatures. Anything you can do. It says owner's manuals that show them from the manufacturer what needs to be done, and it's backing up what you're sharing. Any charts, good and bad fluid samples, part samples, visual inspections of their own vehicle.
Right.
Take and send digital images for those of you that use bolt-on technologies. You know, that's a great example. Those digital inspection software programs are a great way to get those photos to your customers.
Yeah, so here's some tips, because you'll be using these during your sales presentation. And this will help kind of ensure that you guys did identify the proper needs and concerns, as well as the solutions, and you can build value and benefits in that. We'll get to that slide too. So as a tip, we want to kind of explain to you that there's a reason for us saying that. We want you to get people visually involved because of these 2 studies we're about to share. Now, this is the report on the sensory input, right?
Yeah, so any information coming to you through your senses, this is how we process it.
Yeah. and the percentage through what sense.
Yeah.
So as you can see, overwhelmingly, when data comes at us as humans, and the University of California, UCLA, proves this,
Yeah.
there's an overwhelming visual aspect to how we process data. 75% of that is received visually. Okay.
It's a lot.
13% audible. This is what we hear, right? 6% through touch, 3% taste, 3% smell. There's a reason we're sharing this with you. So what we want to do is fast forward and show you, understanding how that data was processed. Look at how we're most influenced using similar information at the point of sale. This is what truly impacts us the most when making a decision. You are just like this as well as your customers. This is how we're wired. And the first time Doris and I saw this, we were like, what? That can't be true. No way. So UCLA shows us that this is how, these are the biggest influencers at the point of sale. If you get really good at understanding this and using this to help influence customers for the right reasons, more people are going to say yes.
So it's true. 55% is through visual input. So supporting what we just shared with you, anything that you can do to get them visually involved, it's overwhelmingly going to be the most important factor in whether or not they're going to say yes to you and be sold on you and your recommendations. 38% is tonality. So what's tonality? Tonality.
We can't hear you guys.
Right.
But.
Yeah, we know they're all answering on the other end of the camera. Tonality, it really is the way you say something, right? The inflection in your voice, whether you sound like you believe in what you're selling, whether you sound like you are having a pleasant day, you have a great energy that's coming at the customer, or when you empathize with them, that they can tell you're being genuine with them. It's in other words, it's the emotion that comes out in the words we use. So what Jen and I were so no way about when we saw this study, we couldn't believe it, was that only 7% of the influencer are the words we actually use. Isn't that crazy?
Right? So let's break this down. I mean, let's go back to the visual input. People believe what they see. So we talked about digital inspections. We talked about support, proof that you can use to explain not only the benefits of your services, but that it's actually really needed so that doubt doesn't creep in.
Right.
Maybe use analogies. You know, how can you compare this control arm to maybe something in the body, right? To explain its significance or importance, or, you know, reasoning as to why we want to get this fixed soon. Think about painting mental pictures with your words. So maybe you don't have digital inspections, but how can you almost articulate a little story so the customer envisions it, because people believe what they see.
So if I could pause you on that.
Yeah.
Painting a mental picture is what we call what she just said. It's like you're telling a story, or you're walking them through the exact steps of what's going to happen when they bring their vehicle in. Now they start to picture this, just like you're watching a movie. So when you don't have visual and you're over the phone, you're sort of creating visual by painting this mental picture. It's actually a really neat art form. And you guys, we teach our master's program students how to get really, really good at this. But consider that. What can you do to bring more of a visualization in their mind as to what's going to take place, what the experience is going to be like when they're with you, etc. And what if you're on the phone? You don't have visual. I mean, that person can't physically see you.
Yeah.
So your tonality, the visual is essentially MIA unless they see pictures of their car, which is great, but they don't see you. So that's not going to be solved unless you're FaceTiming your customers. So tonality is absolutely critical to your success. And you've got to become masters at this. This is something we have to work hard at.
Your sales presentation should be spun in positive ways. You should really sound confident and convicted in what you are recommending. You know, it's important. So if you're having a bad day, or if your tonality's in the dumps, or you're the bearer of bad news, this is not going to help you out. And we're proving it by this study here.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of this? Pretty cool, right?
Be aware, I would listen to your calls, listen to inbound calls, listen to outbound calls, and ask yourself, am I using these two trump cards up here, visual input and tonality? Tonality really depicts emotion. And as we shared last week, people make emotional buying decisions, and then they reinforce that decision with logic.
Yeah, that's what last week was all about. So this study right here kind of proves that to you guys, right? So listen to yourselves, have your coworkers, your spouses, your partners give you feedback. Things like saying, you know, I've got really great news, Jen. We're going to be able to take care of this for you today. And get it out of your hair.
Awesome.
Yeah, we can solve this for you. So that gives her that impression instead of, you know, gosh, you know, I mean, we definitely found some stuff that it needs, and why don't you sit down so we can talk about this? I've got some news to share.
It's going to be a little expensive. Yikes. I don't
Where
want
are we going with that? Yeah, that's not where we want to be.
All right, so hopefully we've made our point. Take UCLA's study for it. I feel like they know what they're talking about. That's not just our information we're sharing with you.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. All righty. Step number 4 is identifying the solutions in the elite sales cycle. So we want to talk about how you might be able to provide solutions to customers. Now, this is more applicable when an advisor has, you know, a handful of things that might need attention. I'm not talking about a multiple repair, real long, heavy data dump kind of sale. This is when you've got, you know, a couple of things that need attention. When you do have that scenario, what we're going to encourage you to do is think about providing your customers with 2 options. The reason we say that is everybody likes a comparative analysis before they make a decision on buying something. It's just how we're wired.
It just helps us to make the decision and feel educated about it.
So we're going to be big advocates of, if you can provide choice to your customers, it's going to be 2 options. It's not going to be 3, good, better, best. 2 options is really cool because that gives you a point to sell one over the other or recommend one over the other.
Right.
They're both going to be good options, don't get me wrong, but one might be a better route for your customer to go based off their, you know, needs and driving habits.
Yeah. And so, you know, the good, better, best idea, we'd still rather see you do that than not provide options at all. But the reason that Elite supports 2 versus 3 choices is because when you have 3, a couple things happen. Number 1, it makes it a little more difficult for that person to make the decision because there's an extra option thrown in. It sort of takes the expert piece out of it.
True.
You guys are the experts. You're the professionals. Tell me, Mr. Service Advisor, what do you think I should do and why? So it's different, you know, putting 3 options out there on the table. Which would you like to do? It's just, you know, it's just not as convicted. It's not as professional.
Yeah.
So,
and we want you to present the options up front. You're not going to hide one option. Like you're not
Like
going to
a
hide the
fallback.
fallback later if the customer contests you. So, you know, situations where options might make sense is with brake jobs, right? Maybe with tires, that's a good one. You could maybe provide options perhaps with different cooling system services. I've heard advisors do really well with transmission sales, you know, just this one or the other one. Let me tell you why. So you will come, you know, you have to come up with what that's going to look like for the customer, but we want you to understand why options are going to help you and your customers. So first off, everyone wants that comparative analysis. So if you were to present me with 2 options to choose from, well, look at A. Now I know a general price point. Let's just say it's brake job.
Right.
I've got a basic way to do the brake job, and then there's a premium way to do the brake job. Maybe the option, the difference is just, you know, I've got the same pads and same rotors, an A or B option, but in the premium route, that's going to include a brake fluid flush, maybe like a rear parking adjustment, cleaning the calipers, whatever. That's the premium way.
Or a premium part. It's just up to whatever your company does.
Yeah.
It's all about a management decision, how that works.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't have to be just between part A and part B. So you guys will creatively come up with the choice. But what's really cool about that is now I have a frame of reference for pricing. If one's $400 and this one's $600, well, this is a general range for a brake job. That's not forcing me to go anywhere else.
And look,
yeah,
hey, I don't know. I'm a mom. I don't remember the last time I got brakes. I can't remember what I paid. That seems pricey. Is that even like a good price for brakes on a Honda? Where do you think I'm gonna go? Google? Probably. I might call some of your competition, do a little shopping before I make my decision. So providing that frame of reference really is powerful. It keeps your customer's head in your facility and away from other comparative options. It really, truly does. This is just psychology. This is all proven. This is not elite stuff. We're just repackaging it and bringing it to you guys. Okay, so do some homework on options, but look at all these other powerful reasons for providing choice.
Yeah, so we just covered A and B. Look at C. If a customer's only presented one route to go, anxiety is going to go up because it's more of that take it or leave it mentality. But if I've got 2 options and I hear from you, from the professional, which of these two would better suit me, then I have control. I get to pick, and that's going to reduce my anxiety substantially. And that's where you want your customers.
Yes, nobody likes to be sold anything or feel backed into a corner, but people like to buy.
Yep.
So I want to be in control. I want to be able to say, I made this decision. I felt it was a good decision for me. Not if I ask Jen, well, Jen, what are my options? She can't ethically tell me, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't really see any options. It's, you really need to get it done. Well, of course I have options. My option is shop around. I could check with the competitors. I could wait and just make sure I feel comfortable first. So I always have options. So the best thing we can do is to try to provide those to the customer.
Right. And if an advisor presented me with 2 break job options, whatever that looks like, at least you have the fallback. If I go with the basic because of just affordability, that's all I can afford that day. Well, I'm a happy camper. I chose, my brakes are fixed. I'm going to walk out the door and everything's good. You're happy. You got the sale. Everyone's, ethically done the right thing. So you have more probability of selling something when you provide choice.
Yeah. And we recommend that the service advisors we work with present, like Jen said, 2 choices right up front, not saving one in case they give us a sales objection and say, well, we could do have this other way you could go. It just seems cheesy. It feels like it lacks ethics. It's kind of like, well, gosh, if you would have told me that, why didn't you tell me that before? You're just trying to get more money out of me, right? So when you provide them up front, you can say, we got a couple different ways you could go. Let me explain both of them to you. But the first way you could go is we could do this. This is an exceptional service. It's a really great service. And the second way you can go, which is the way that I recommend and the way your technician Larry recommends based off of what we know about you, your vehicle, your driving habits, is that we go ahead with this premium service. And let me tell you why, right? Let's talk about the benefits of it. And then the pricing. So now we're actually selling one of the 2. We're not just putting them on a platter and saying, you pick.
Yeah.
We're the experts.
Oh, there's a difference.
So hopefully that's great for you guys. Very, very cool way to sell. Very helpful in getting your closing ratios to go up.
Yeah.
And getting your AROs up. That's powerful stuff.
Yeah. And don't even take our word for it. Just Google later when you have time, like power behind choice at the point of sale. Read about studies. There's millions of them out there about closing ratios and how they skyrocket when consumers are presented with options. It's very powerful. There's a lot of psychology behind it.
Yes.
Cool.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Never prejudge a customer. We need to be very, very careful here, guys. We get it. Trust me. We've been doing this for a very long time. I was a service advisor for many years prior to working with Elite. And it gets tough. You become a little jaded. It's like, I can't handle one more person telling me that they need to talk to their husband, or they can't afford it. It's probably just a smoke screen. We need to be very careful before we prejudge, pre-qualify a customer based off of their past performance in our shop. Sometimes
what kind of car they're driving.
What kind of car they're driving.
Yeah.
The fact that it hasn't been well taken care of, because in many cases, those people have not had a really good service advisor who knows how to help them see the value, number one. Some of those people are poor decision makers and they need your help making a really good decision. So all the more reason you have to be really, really good. But if you start in that mindset, people will pick up on that. Technicians might do the same thing. Oh man, this thing might not be worth it. Every time this person comes in, all they do is an oil change. We got to get better at our skills. At least try with the newfound sales skills and then see if we can win that person over.
And same premise with like pre-qualifying. It's they're not going to want to pay for this or they can't afford it. Let's just ditch that mentality. I'm sure that's bitten everyone in the you-know-what before, where you've been surprised either in a good way or a bad way. So let's just give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Let's inspect every vehicle. Let's sell and do the right thing. And, let's just not let that manifest in anything negative.
Yes, very good.
Okay.
All right, guys. We're on step number 5 of the sales cycle, building interest and value. There are 4 sales that always need to take place every single time you engage a customer. The first thing you have to sell in every single case is you have to sell the customer on yourself. They have to be sold on you first and foremost, or the rest of it is just going to fall to pieces, right?
Right. Think about this with a first-time customer especially.
Yeah.
Like, I've never done business with you before, right? If I don't like you or trust you or view you as a credible expert, this is going to be an uphill battle for you to sell me anything. right?
Yep.
So get me to feel good about you.
And they might not even tell you. They'll just tell you, let me think about it, or I'm going to call my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And then they call you and say, I need to pick it up. And you don't have any idea why. It got to be sold on you. So
Yeah.
everything in last week's module is where you need to spend your time.
Yeah. And then I don't know anything about your people. So if I'm a first-time customer, you better sell me on your technician. Let me know, maybe tenure, how long have they been there? Any credentials or certs that are really substantial. Maybe they're the diagnostic or testing guru and they're really good at these particular problems. Maybe they're your Toyota guy. Maybe they've been with you for forever and they've got 50 years of experience. Help me feel confident in this person's recommendations.
And if you can't say any of those things, maybe they're just really ethical. Maybe they pour their heart into their work. They treat every customer's car like it's family member's car. Those are the kind of things that you want to share with your customers to make them really feel put at ease. Because you know what? Your customer can't go anywhere and get your people. They cannot go down the shop to the next shop that's also got a good reputation and get Joe in the back or you.
Or you, yeah.
So always do this.
And then, I'm brand new, so you want to sell me on my own car. This is after you've done the inspection. Let's start off on a positive foot. Let's highlight some of the good things found in the inspection. Give them a short, powerful list. Doris, we checked out your suspension. That's really tight. Tires are wearing really well. You've got a lot of life on those.
Good.
And you know what? Great news. Brakes, a lot of meat left on those pads, so we're not going to have to tackle that for a while.
Awesome.
She's hearing all the things I'm not trying to sell her. Does that make sense? First-time customers, their anxieties are going to be pretty high. Even repeat customers, they're still going to have some anxiety. Let's reduce that by just quickly sharing a short, powerful list, and it will help them decipher if they want to keep this car and continue investing in it.
Right.
If you do that step in that order.
Yeah. Then next, after we've done all those sales in that order, then the last is sell them on the needed repairs or service. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is good stuff.
Yeah. What most advisors do, they pick up the phone, they say hello, how's your day doing, and they hit step number 4, and that's it. That's not going to reduce much anxiety.
No,
it's actually going to drive it up, right?
It will.
Okay.
All right.
Now,
so building interest and value, we're still here, right? Focus on the benefits, not the parts and labor. Most service advisors we meet before they come through training, that's what everybody does, guys. They sell parts and labor all day long, all day long. We might, if we're lucky here, like 1 or 2 little sprinkled in benefits in this whole conversation, and it's typically not very well done.
Yeah. So this is what we mean by building interest and value. You've got to get the customer really excited and enticed to want to buy that repair or service if you can explain to them what's in it for them, right? No one wants to buy spark plugs. No one's interested in waking up in the morning and buying brake pads. I can promise you that I'm not.
No.
I don't want to spend my money on that. But if you can help me see what's in it for me and handing over $500 and how I win by gaining the benefits in return, I'm going to buy it. So let's do a little exercise to get you guys in the right spot.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the differences between products, features, and benefits. So let's use a product that we're all very familiar with. We use this in our other training classes. Bless you. Aspirin, right? Here it is. We've got Bayer. This is the product in this scenario, okay? I could be having a raging headache, which I'm known to have.
Yep.
Right? And I'm going to go into my local CVS and I'm going to walk down that aisle and there's going to be 20 other competitors with similar products, right? Are you envisioning this? Now, the features of these products are kind of what we call the special ingredients or the wow factor that sets Bayer apart from the Tylenol, the ibuprofen, the Advil, everything in that aisle.
Yeah, so what do you guys see on there? I see it says advanced,
extra strength,
pro-release technology, new.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds fancy.
Fast, safe pain relief. These are all things that the product is screaming, pick me, pick me. This is what sets them apart from the competition. Now, I have some advisors who somewhat get that when they sell. They'll talk about the features. Features are great, but to build the most interest and value, I'm the consumer that I want the headache gone. That's what I want. I want to buy the benefits. So we can roll through this quickly. Fast forward into our world. Let's think about how you would sell this particular repair with products, features, and benefits in mind.
All right. So the product here we have a transmission, okay? That's the parts and labor. And that's where a lot of advisors spend their time. 95% of advisors, that's what they sell. If they're good at what they do, they'll hop into the features. The features are what set that transmission apart from your competitors. So the features, well, a lot of people will say, well, the brand Jasper engines and transmissions is the benefit, Doris and Jen. And we say, well, hold on a minute. Is it really though? It's not. It's the feature. We have to draw the features out to how the customer wins by having Jasper and the type of warranty they offer behind that repair. Okay, so Jasper sets that transmission apart from the competitions. That's what makes it special, but the benefits are how the customer wins by choosing it. So when you're able to say, you've got a company that's been in business since 1942, all they do is specialize in engines and transmissions. They are the true experts at building these, and they are very, very good at what they do. They've got what they call a do-it-right process. This comes with a 3-year, 100,000-mile warranty. And by doing this, Jen, you're going to save yourself a lot of worry, hassle, headache. And by the way, that warranty is nationwide. Doesn't matter where you go, you are taken care of. You don't have to worry about it at all. So all you need to do is pick up the phone and give me a call, and we'll have it handled no matter where you are. Yeah. So now it's how the customer is going to save time, money. It is going to save her money in the long run by just making sure that for whatever she may not have to have any further repairs done on it because of the quality that's there. And most importantly, it's going to provide her with peace of mind. So your conversation, 90% of it needs to be had in that world of benefits. There needs to be a long, drawn out conversation with Jen about how she wins. We touch on the feature so that they know what it is, and we stay far, far away from parts and labor. The only time you go there is if you have a gearhead, an engineer type, and let them take you there. You can always add more information, technologically speaking, getting down into the nitty gritty, but you can't backtrack once you've done it, and you don't want to confuse people. So.
Yeah. So think about it this way. Maybe I do need a transmission, and the premium choice that you're offering me is the Jasper route, versus the fallback of some used something or other that isn't as fabulous, but it'll still, get my car to move. So if
temporarily, just kidding.
So if I'm looking at these options and I hear that from her, and maybe the Jasper is, a couple $100 more than the other option or whatever the price difference is, at least I know what the benefits are. So that's this little smiley face emoji at the bottom of this page. Write this one down. This is an acronym that stands for what's in it for me. From this point forward, to help you guys and girls sell the benefits of your repairs and services. Remember, the customer's always questioning, what's in it for me? So if you picture they have this on their forehead, like a tattoo, or right across their chest, right? When they call in or walk in the door, that's going to help you articulate saving you time, peace of mind, money down the road, another visit, hassle, whatever those benefits are.
Jen, tell them what we have our master's students do with the benefits list.
Oh my gosh. So if you were to come to our advanced course, they work on a project that lasts 6 months long, where in their own writing and their own wordage, they'll create a cheat sheet that is, 8 to 10 pages long of any service or repair they could potentially sell a customer, and the benefits bullet pointed underneath all of
everything.
Those.
How does the vehicle win and how does the customer win? So feel free, if you guys want to start this as a team, it'd be a great exercise. Open up a Word document and just start listing every single service. You really need to have 6, 7 benefits on every single repair you sell. You got to know what those are, guys. You can't think when you're in front of the customer. You got to have that stuff readily available. So
open a Word document, start it. And then, before you pick up the phone to attempt to make a sales presentation, remind yourself what's in it for the customer. I got to regurgitate this. So what should I be saying quickly?
Yep. Good stuff.
All right.
Products, features, benefits. Okay. Number 3 on building interest and value. This is a great tip. It says if a vehicle may not appear to be a good economic investment, start by asking the customer before you even plant that seed. Is this a part of your family, this vehicle, Jen? Or does it hold any special place in your heart at all?
A little bit, yeah. This was a car we got with our first kid, and it's had a lot of memories. Yeah, it's kind of a nice car.
Okay, all right, great. Well then, this might be a really good investment for you. Yeah, thank you
Okay.
so much for sharing. Let's talk about what we discovered. Now, the other way this could go is she could say,
No,
no.
this is just wheels, Doris.
Okay.
Nothing too important. Why do you ask?
Well, we just wanted to kind of get a feel for that for you, and share what we discovered on it. But I wanted to get a take from you first. Would you
Okay.
like to hear what we discovered anyways?
Yeah. So you guys want to figure out, one, if there's emotional ties. The reason for that is maybe the car is worth, let's just say, for example, $1,000. And today we need $2,000 worth of repairs. If the $2,000 worth of repairs is still going to get it on the road and it's going to be trustworthy and the customer really loves this car, well then yeah, that's a really good investment for them. That's probably
Right.
one of the best investments if it holds an emotional tie to them.
Right.
Does that make sense? But if it's not, it's just wheels, you could say, well, the reason I'm asking that, like Doris and I quickly role played, is, based off what we found today, due to the cost of the repairs, we're seeing that it's more than the car's actually worth.
If you were to sell it outright, these repairs, they're going to be more than what it's worth to sell it outright. But
yeah, in a lot of cases, which I'm sure is true for a lot of your customers, it's more economically sound for them to invest the $2,000 into this car versus other options. Maybe they go used again and there's bigger issues that need $4,000 worth of work.
Right.
Or, a lot of people can't afford a younger car. So regardless, we want you to know what that answer is before you attempt that sales presentation, when the vehicle may not appear to be a good economical investment.
Let them know you're there to help them through it, to make sure they make a really good financial decision. And now that's when the conversation starts.
Mm-hmm.
That is a whole nother module.
Yeah. So we can spend a lot of time on that.
We can spend a lot of time on how to handle that.
But on the flip side of this, just because you wouldn't invest personally, you think that this is a heap, that doesn't mean that you're going to sell your job and offend someone, especially if this is maybe their deceased husband's truck. I mean, you can't make that call for the customer. Now, of course, don't get us wrong. I mean, if the car, literally shouldn't ethically be on the road, I mean, that's a different conversation. Have that with the customer.
Right.
Don't put them in something where they're spending too much in an unsafe vehicle.
Yeah, the subframe's rusted out. Those kinds of situations are never good. So
Just
we're
a
always
tip.
going to keep ethics in mind at every turn, right, guys? That's what we're all about. So, but hopefully that was helpful for you.
Mm-hmm. So all of these things are going to help you build interest and value. And next week, we're going to get into how to ask for the sale after you've done that. But now, it's already been almost
Q&A time,
38
guys.
minutes. It is question time. So I'm going to turn our camera off just so you're not looking in my face. And I'm going to open up our question section. So now would be the appropriate time. We've got a handful of minutes here to go live with you and answer what you guys are curious about. Okay. Okay. So I think Jason was, maybe he was just
critiquing our role play.
Our role play. Yeah, Jason, maybe I used
cuff.
some bogus times there. Thanks for catching that. Yes, so Jason mentions talk to the customer as if they're a friend regarding options. If they pick the last option, they may feel it's the worst choice. So Jason, when you present options, both of these options from your professional opinion should still be good options.
Yeah, you're never going to sell something that's not a good choice.
Right.
It's just that one's going to have a lot more benefits. Customer's going to win in a bigger way.
Right. So either way, even if they do the fallback, it's never the worst choice. It's just what suits their needs at that time, because you would be presenting a good fallback as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. So let's see.
Oh, that's cool. Jason says one more thing here. I learned with parenting my kids when they were younger that they were more inclined to do what I needed if I gave them choices. So true, right?
Yeah.
Those choices are important.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. So Justin writes, okay, we just had a customer with an older, less desirable car who needed $500 worth of work. Oh, did he start off earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. A lot of times I open with, that's a good looking car truck you've got there. How long have you had it? And they normally just give you the life story. Yeah, great, Justin. That's perfect. Thanks for that tip.
And then he mentions a scenario. They had a customer that had an older car, less desirable, needed $500 worth of work to pass emissions. He wanted a guarantee, which cannot be promised. Oh, I'm sorry. Now everyone's plugging in their questions. Sorry, guys, I'm confusing you. Now I'm reading someone else's. I'm so sorry.
You already did that. We already did that one.
Okay.
Is it a good idea to ask customers if they are getting other quotes? Chris, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to ask that, but I wouldn't ask it unless it's brought to your attention. I would use your sales skills to get the customer to come in, which if you follow the teachings, it'll really work well for you in most cases.
Yeah. A tip for you, if after you've presented the sale and you're just sensing or hearing reservation, you might want to ask them, Chris, what's giving you pause? And that's where they might open up and say to you, well, Chris, I actually got another quote from a shop the other day, and you guys are just completely off. I don't understand why, you might be more, or there's a significant difference. So, ask people what's giving them a little bit of pause. Just let them know you're there to help them. You're kind of sensing that there's something holding them back. Hopefully they like you enough and trust you enough to express, that information.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Michael says, I was wondering if you could just give me the five on sensory input again. The 5. The ones. 75% visual. Where is it?
Let me just get it in case anyone else is missing this. Yeah, so if any of you have
13% audible, 6% taste. It's back one.
There we go.
There we go. 75% visual, 13% audible, 6% touch, 3 taste, and 3 smell.
Yep. So. Georgine is asking, what would you consider benefits to a transmission replacement? In your example, well, one, we got to figure out what the customer's original concerns were. If they can't back up, one of the benefits is, if we replace this transmission, they're going to get to work. They're going to be able to back up, right? But the big ones I would play on is just, get in the car and better working order, peace of mind, right?
And Georgine, you need to talk about the economics of it, how it may be a smarter decision for them to invest in a transmission, especially with the type of warranty and peace of mind that they're going to gather versus going out and buying something new. So that actually is a deep, you have to be very skilled salesperson to handle that sales objection, but we dive way deep into that in more advanced training. But yeah, bottom line, you got to weigh it out financially for them and help them with that decision and make sure it's the right choice. And you've got to really lay the benefits on thick.
Yes. Okay. So we've got about 30 seconds left, Doris. Which one else do you want? What one do you want to answer? And this is a little confusing because people are just kind of typing stories here. So I apologize. We're trying to find a question.
The hardest part of my job is we are higher priced than most shops around. How can I get past this when talking with customers? That's great. You guys are, I'm sure, higher priced because you are exceptional at what you do and you provide tremendous value. And that comes down to the experience in your facility, Jason. It comes down to the ethics that you live by. It comes down to the reputation you've earned. It comes down to the caliber of the people that you work with, the types of warranties you offer. It's really about the experience and peace of mind that the customer gets.
And the results
when they come to see you. So your whole conversation needs to be with an attitude of cheap things are seldom good and good things are seldom cheap. You guys are highest price for a reason. Many of our clients, and many of the service advisors we work with are in that exact same position, Jason. And it's really just about having conviction, believing in what you sell, and selling your people, selling your principles, and knowing what that conversation needs to sound like when people are challenging you on your pricing.
Yeah.
So you can get really good at that. And be honest, if I have somebody like you in front of me who's able to do that, I'm going to feel inclined to say yes to you because I go, wow, these people really believe in what they do. But if I sense doubt, if I sense that you do think you're priced too high, and that comes out in your tonality, guess what? I'm probably not going to buy from you.
Yep. And that is a loaded bullet point. We have a master's class that will help you master those
All
kind
of
of
those
sales
things,
objections.
everything you guys could imagine, it'll help you master.
So we've ran out of time. This has been really fun. I'll get to some of the questions that we didn't read out loud, so don't worry, that's coming today. But jot down what your focus is going to be for the next week. So start getting your customers visually involved. So there was a question, I'll just answer it really quickly. Send the digital inspection before you pick up the phone. Use that digital inspection as an aid while you're going through the sales presentation to get your customer engaged and sold, because people believe what they see.
Bolt-on's awesome, guys.
Yeah, so start getting your customers visually involved, however that looks. Start building your own bullet pointed benefits list. We just talked about that, and that's going to start with the services you sell the most. So think of the common services and repairs. Get that cheat sheet going on a Word document.
Watch for the link to the recorded session. It'll come to you later today from Elite, so that you can go back and rewatch this and get all the notes that you perhaps missed. And use the GoToWebinar link, the same link that you have.
And they'll get a new one.
It's going to be coming again for the next session.
Yeah.
We will see you next Wednesday, same time, same channel, you guys, for Module 3.
So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jasper. Thanks so much for all that you guys do for the industry and for helping us put this on for everyone here. We are so grateful to all of you for being here and to Jasper for what you guys do. So thanks for putting up with me and my weird neck issue. Have a good week, guys.
She'll feel better next week. Bye, everyone.